Far too many real estate investors learn this lesson the hard way. In this video episode, I'm going to explain why savvy real estate investors hold their real estate properties usually only one of two ways, either mortgage to the hilt or free and clear. Why? So my name's Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades, helping people optimize assets, minimize taxes, and empower what I call their authentic wealth. I've been very blessed, honored in my career to have authored thus far 12 best-selling books. And in my very first 2 or 3 books, the first one was titled Missed Fortune because of the fortunes people miss out on when they simply don't know what they don't know. And then in my second book, and then my third book, which we were very blessed, it became a New York Times and Wall Street Journal #1 bestseller. I talk about the concept that smart, savvy real estate investors keep their real estate properties in one of two ways, okay? Either mortgaged to the hilt or free and clear, because anywhere in between, they get into trouble and they don't understand it until it's too late. So they learn this lesson the hard way. And then they come back and they go, oh my heavens, yeah, I wish I would have listened to you earlier. So let me explain this to you, and I'm going to share a few stories with you in the process. Now, my first lesson about this happened with my first home that I built, okay? I actually bought a home when we were first married, my wife and I, in 1974. And I need to reveal to you that I've never paid a down payment for any home that I've purchased, any piece of real estate. I've satisfied down payments, but I've never coughed up any of my own money, okay? Now, that's another topic, and you can search on this YouTube channel for why and how I have never paid a down payment for any piece of property. And so this home that we built in 1978 was our third home, and it was a beautiful 6,400 square foot home built on 2 acres on a canyon rim in central Utah. It was our dream home. And we were able to build that home for about $150,000. Yep, 6,400 square foot home. And when we moved in about a year later, it appraised for $305,000. Now, I didn't pay $150,000 into the home in a down payment. I didn't pay anything down. I actually had the seller of the lot subordinate, and the lot satisfied the down payment, but I didn't even pay cash for the lot, okay? And then after it was all done and I took out a long-term mortgage, then I was able to pay off the lot. And that story is in the book, so I didn't pay a down payment. But here's the mistake I made. See, I built the home for $150,000, and when I moved in, it appraised for $305,000. I thought I had the world by the tail. It was worth twice as much as I paid for it. But that equity didn't occur or happen because I put $150,000 of cash into it. The house just simply was worth more than what I paid for it. Okay, this is called appreciation. So I thought I had the world by the tail until a couple of years later, 3 things happened that I never dreamed would happen simultaneously. And it was right smack dab in the middle of the 1980 recession, where in Houston, Texas, for example, 16,000 homeowners lost their homes in foreclosure. Now, they didn't all of a sudden become bad people. They just couldn't make their mortgage payments. And it didn't matter how much they had been sending the mortgage company in extra principal payments. When they lost their job in the energy crisis of 1980 or what have you, they went to the mortgage banker and said, hey, I've been paying you an extra $100 a month for the last 5 years. I should be about 9 months ahead. It didn't make any difference. The next mortgage payment is due, and if you're behind 90 days, they can foreclose on you. In fact, they'll foreclose on you if you have a lot of equity in your property. So in 1980, we had a supervisor that was dishonest and embezzled money. 3 of us didn't have our income for about 9 months. They froze our income while they were investigating this guy. And so all three of us lost our homes in foreclosure. Now, I learned that even though the home had appraised for 300 and I only paid 150 for it, that was just a number on a sheet of paper if I couldn't access it. When you go to borrow, okay, the lender will loan you money based on your ability to repay. I didn't have an income. So they're going to say fat chance. And so I could not do that. So I had only one alternative. I actually sold a duplex and took the equity and brought the delinquent mortgage current. And I sold a timeshare at a ski resort and brought the delinquent mortgage current a second time. But I didn't have any other liquid assets. And so I decided to sell the home. We had another 2 acres we could rebuild. And so I listed the home for, $295,000 because I had a bona fide appraisal a year earlier of $305,000. When there's more supply than demand, no. So we had to quickly lower the price of the house down to $275, $265, $225. I'll never forget the day we walked into the county courthouse at the sheriff's auction and we watched that beautiful dream home get foreclosed on. Now, I went out the next day and bought another home with no money down and no credit. Again, most of the homes that I've ever acquired had nothing to do with me having cash or even credit. But I learned a lesson. See, the equity in my home wasn't because I put money into the property. I let the home appreciate, and I thought that was a good deal. But that real estate equity was not liquid. It was not safe when the real estate market crashed, and it did not earn a rate of return. So from that point forward, I have always kept my real estate equity separated. I don't pay a down payment, and anytime my property goes up in value, I refinance and keep that equity separated into a liquid safe vehicle, which I call the laser fund. Now, that's what I do, and I keep my money liquid and safe, earning a rate of return that's usually at least twice as much as the net cost of the mortgage, which I explain on this channel. This is how to become your own banker. If I borrow money at 4.5% tax deductible interest in a 33% bracket, it only costs me 3%. On $1 million mortgage, that's only $30,000, and I'm earning 9% net after the cost of the insurance or more on my laser funds. So how much more is 9 than 3? Don't say 6. I'm making $90,000 the very first year tax-free, and I'm only paying $30,000. Would you hire an employee for $30,000 that made you an extra $90,000? That's a 300% return on employment cost. So I actually make money by using OPM, just like banks pay interest in order to make more interest. Well, how did that play out in 2008? In 2008, the market crashed, the stock market, and the real estate market shortly comes because that was the mortgage meltdown. And so I had financed my home at that time to the hilt. And so I actually owed on my home about $1.5 million, and that's what it was worth. And in one single year, the house went down in value to about $1.1 million. And I had critics that went, "Oh, neener, Mr. Andrew, you now owe more on your house than your house is worth." And I went, so I'm in control. The mortgage company loves me because I have the $1.5 million of cash. It's only worth $1.1 million. That $400,000 it dropped in value, I would have lost had I left it in the house. Hello? I still have that $400,000. It's over here earning a compounding rate of return at 8%. And the mortgage is only costing me at most 4%. I'm making 100% more than the cost of funds on that $400,000. Hello? I am making money on $400,000 of equity that is no longer in my house because I never let it accrue in my house in the first place. And then after 2009, when the house came back and then finally came back up to $1.5 million and $2 million, I refinanced it again because I learned that lesson. because people who had their equity or they were paying extra principal payments, they lost all of that extra equity that they had spent years building up by sending extra principal. This is why savvy investors either keep their real estate mortgaged to the hilt and their equity, so to speak, separated safely where it's liquid and safe, earning a tax-free rate of return greater than the cost of the funds, or else free and clear. Because anywhere in between, they get into trouble. Okay? Well, most recently, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I had a commercial property. And again, I actually had a first, second, third, and fourth mortgage on that commercial building. Yep. And that kept me safe because I was able to, as I saw COVID-19 starting to come, I was able to sell that property and it was able to pay off all the mortgages, but I had the liquid cash already separated. I have a very close acquaintance who owns nearly $1 billion of commercial real estate. And he has always said, Doug, I love what you teach because you understand how money works. And he has always kept all of his commercial buildings mortgaged to the hilt. He refinances them every 3, 4, 5 years, and he makes sure that he keeps his cash separated. So he's in control. And so during COVID-19, when everybody started working out of their homes, and then after COVID, half of the people never came back to their offices because they were as efficient or more efficient working out of their houses. So during that sort of dearth of having tenants, he's been in control. He has the money because he kept it separated, and he's been paying simple interest, tax deductible, with just a portion of the compound interest that he's earning tax-free on the money that he kept separated from his properties. Is this making sense? If you're going, golly, I've never thought of it this way, you need to learn how money works. So I want to gift you a copy of one of my most recent best-selling books. It's called The Laser Fund. Okay, LASER is an acronym that stands for Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. This teaches you how to diversify and create the foundation for tax-free accumulation and tax-free income during retirement. And this is my favorite vehicle. And when you understand how money works, you can set up your own laser bank, is what we call it. But I've been teaching this ever since the mid-1970s. And I'm not the first one to originate this idea. Frankly, it's in the Bible, okay? The parable of the talents. But if you want to read this book, it's actually 2 books in one. This side is 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs if you're a left brain learner. If you're a right brain learner, you can flip it over and read this one. This is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual stories of how this works, okay? And so you simply go to Laser Fund, laserfund.com, or click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I will pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you. But if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's options there for audio and video. And you can check out some of the educational webinars that we teach on a regular basis. And they're free. They're at no charge. You can even plug your name into an appointment to talk to a specialist with no cost, no obligation, to see how these strategies may apply in your particular set of circumstances. But I hope you're beginning to understand why savvy real estate investors in particular either keep their properties mortgaged to the hilt and their equity separated, compounding rates of return tax-free, usually at least double the rate of return of the net cost of the funds, or they own them free and clear. But they have the money over in this pocket. They can pay off the property in one fell swoop if they want to. They are out of debt anytime they want to be out of debt. Does that make sense? You will learn why as you study my book.